Hello everyone, I'm here today with a flip-through video. This is the second half of my Vegas 2021 album and it's done. Journaling's done and everything, so then it's really done. So hopefully you watch part one. If not, go watch that, then come back. But this is where part two starts, and it's not a great start because this was not a super great experience. The pictures are really cute, which is fun, but these girls tried to hustle me when I've been to Vegas before and I know how it works. You get a tip for taking these photos. You don't demand $40 for taking the photo. That's an absolute no. So I was crabby after this, but at least I got some cute photos. And oh, I should have said there's some swearing on here. Sorry. So if you don't want to see that, skip past this part, but there are some choice words on here. So just be warned. And then over on this side, this was when we were done with that. We were just kind of looking out over the strip here. And I loved this view with the palm trees there with the crystal blue skies. It was a lovely day, quite warm, but very lovely. And I really didn't need to add a lot. So I just did an acetate circle here from Ali Edwards. And then I had this 3D palm tree from Doodlebug. So then we were on to seeing more holiday displays. This was inside the Wynn, and actually this was kind of in their lobby, and it was a weird setup. They had this, so there was sort of this circus-y theme going on because there was this hot air balloon here, and then there was this merry-go-round, and then they had something completely different on another part of their display, which you'll see in a minute. So I felt like it was two different things, kind of, and that's fine. Several hotels did that. Depending on what area you were in, they would have different displays. It's just these seemed very incongruous to me. So I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. I liked them. Look at the colors. They're beautiful. It just was a little odd, but I still enjoyed it. So I had fun matching all these colors here. And then I even got to use an acrylic title down here that when this came, it was part of my Color Cast Designs monthly kit. When it came, I'm like, okay, I don't really do day-to-day scrapping anymore. Like for a family album, my kids have gotten older and we don't have as much, and so I've really cut back. I didn't know how the heck I was going to use that, frankly, but it worked out really well with this. It even matched the color, and you know, orange is hard to use sometimes. Not a lot of things are orange, and I was happy that this worked out well and it actually matched. So after seeing those colors and that part of the display, this was also part of the Wynn, and this was very Gulliver's Travels, Lord of the Rings kind of a thing happening here, and I liked that because I loved this, and I thought that's gonna be a heck of a lot easier to match in terms of color than this, and I was right. So I had fun with these. I got to use some foiled paper in the background, which I don't get to do a lot of, so I enjoyed that. And I had all kinds of fun holiday themed ephemera and embellishments, so it all came together here, and I got to use purple, which isn't that common. Certainly not for holiday stuff, but it worked here. I had a purple shirt on. There was some purple coloring in some of this stuff, so I went with it. And then this layout even has a flip here, and I worked in more purple on that. And then when we were done there, we headed back down the strip. That was kind of way at one end, really, for what we were doing that day. That was it. So then we headed back on the other side, and so this is out front of Caesars. So we certainly got to see that. And then my older son is a huge fan of Gordon Ramsay. He loves to cook, cooks for his job, really likes this guy's personality, thinks he's hilarious. And so I knew there were a couple of Gordon Ramsay places in Vegas, but I didn't realize this was right here. And so I thought, okay, Hell's Kitchen is very famous. Gotta go in there, take some pictures, maybe get some souvenirs for my son. So I have this here. And then I did go in, I did purchase a t-shirt. He chose this one. So I brought that home with me. But I really didn't do a lot of embellishing. I didn't feel like it needed it. I just said, fun. These are all flat little pieces of ephemera, which is awesome. And then the journaling, that's all it took really. Didn't need more than that. So then after this, we were tired. It was hot. We wanted to go back to the room, freshen up a little bit, take a break until it was time to go to the Neon Museum. We had tickets that evening. And it says 5:45 on here. I believe we actually chose the 6:30 slot, thinking like, oh, we don't know exactly what we're gonna do during the day, so let's put it later to make sure we have enough time to do other stuff. Well, we got on the bus. It went really fast. We were there early, and so we're like, hey, can we get in at the 5:45? And they said yes, they were opening. So we did that. Worked out great. So this is just what it looks like on the outside when you approach the building. Very retro looking, and so I thought this retro digital file die cut thing that I had would be perfect, and then I just stamped in it. So didn't take a lot. These are from the same set, so a lot of this was just standard stuff I already had, and all I had to do was just little things and it was good to go. And honestly, I love layouts like that because it's a lot less stressful for stuff to come together. And I have a couple layouts coming here of things inside of the neon boneyard. That's how they refer to it. So you'll see a lot of old neon signs here. And again, because a lot of these were pretty wild, I kept it simple. Just some phrase labels, couple of stickers, maybe some little ephemera pieces here, and that's it. Nothing too crazy. And then this one has a photo flip as well. I'll move this down so you can see that's what's underneath there. But nothing super duper hard to do, which I kind of appreciate, especially in an album this large, because there were so many layouts to do. And then here I got to use a fun insert where they are all 4x3 horizontals, which I don't get to use very often, but it worked out for what I had here, and I was super pleased with that. This is one of my favorite layouts in the whole album, and I admit a lot of it is because of the color. I love me some purple, and I love that the fuchsia was in there and the lighter pinks with a little bit of red. I just really thought, like, this is design-wise one of the best things I've seen, and so I wanted to feature all of those signs. I knew that they would match together, and it came together well here. I even rounded the corners so it would look more retro. And more signs, and again, a very retro look to a lot of these. Stuck with the flat embellishments for the most part. I did use some acrylic stars I had, but they're fairly thin acrylic, so I felt okay doing that. And given that I was this far in the album, I was like, okay, I know I have a little space that I can play with here, so I'm gonna put those in there. Still at the Neon Museum here. This page I love because of this freaking awesome vellum. Look at that retro pattern on there. I knew as soon as I went through my stuff and saw it that it was perfect for this. So I had to use that. And then the glitterly, very Vegas-y washi there also worked well, matched perfectly with the Moulin Rouge sign. How could I not use it? And then here I just have some flat stars, some chipboard. These rhinestones, yes, they had a little bulk, but again, they're very thin. So I felt okay doing that. And then we went downtown because the Neon Museum is kind of close to downtown. You have to walk a little bit outside of the main downtown area to get there. And I will say the Neon Museum, if you haven't been, when you go, just be prepared. It's not in the world's greatest area. We walked and I was with a friend, and so it was sketch, but I felt okay because I wasn't alone. Never would I walk there alone, now that I know, especially not when it's dark. So just heads up if you're gonna go. So anyway, back to downtown here. This one has a fun 3x12 insert here. Again, I don't do many of those, but it fit what I needed here because I didn't need a whole extra page. And I got to use more purple and some pinks. And these fun retro stickers are from Pip Sticks, or Pip Stickers, whichever one you want to call it. I think it's technically Pip Sticks is their website. But that's where I got those. So if you like the look of those retro foil stickers, go out and buy them. That's where you can find them. And then here we were just wandering down the main part of Fremont Street. They have a ceiling that goes over the street, and then they put shows up with music and things. I think it's always at the top of the hour. So we caught, I think, 2 of those in the time that we were down there. We didn't spend a huge amount of time because at least when we were there, like, there wasn't a lot going on. There wasn't a lot to do. It's a lot of people watching is what it is. And boy, do you see some interesting things down there. And then they have really cheap drinks. So if you're wanting to get a buzz on, this is probably where to do it. And then as we came back closer to our hotel, we needed some place to eat. We actually wanted to do the Gordon Ramsay burger place, but we found out when we showed up there that it was under renovation. So it was closed. We couldn't eat there. And we were so tired by that point, we're like, okay, like, what's next door? Literally, because we did not want to walk too much further. So we found this place, and it's fine. We had a good time. It was very quiet in there, not a lot of people, and we were totally okay with that, just given COVID, and, you know, Vegas is full of people. We were kind of peopled out. So it was just fine that this was quiet. And it was actually a great meal and not super expensive. I was surprised. I thought, wow, this is probably gonna be a big bill. Not bad at all. Here I use another one of those retro pieces, like the signs that I used earlier. This is another one. I just cut off the end of it and only used that part. And then here's the rest of it right here. And then now we're on to day 3. This was Mandalay Bay. So this was the start of our day. We decided we were gonna go all the way to the other end of the strip and then work our way back since we hadn't been down there yet. And I had been here before, but I remembered shockingly little. Maybe they've redone all this since I was there last time. I didn't really remember any of it, but I loved it. I thought the way they designed this was beautiful. Very sort of high class, elegant architecture. I loved the palm trees, the fountains that they had. And so I really wanted to do up all those elements. So I included some sparkly palm sequins here. This is just, I think this is foam, if I'm not mistaken. And what else did I do? Oh, this is a digital file. I cut that out. Some thin washi. Again, nothing too crazy here. So I like that. Sometimes I think simple is good, and it definitely lets me get through layouts faster. I mean, this album still took months, but it lets me get through things faster than when I would do 12 by 12, and I would have all these crazy embellishments and dimensional things, and I really preferred this style now that I've been doing it a while. So not only was the outside of Mandalay lovely, the inside was incredible. You can tell it's a more upscale hotel. Look at the decorations that they have. They went with this very cool white, blue, silver, gold theme for everything, and I dig that. Again, it's a non-traditional holiday theme. And I like it. I like it because of that. I get very tired of the red and green, so I'm all about this. And I just happened to see a digital file set that was all that color scheme, so I snapped it up. And I think I paid like $4 for all the cards that were in it. Well, you can't beat that. So I wanted to use as many of those as I could, so I've got quite a few in here, and there are more. And I think this set actually has these in alternate orientations as well. So if you're looking for it, I can't remember what site it was on. It was either Pixel Scrapper, maybe Sweet Shop, or Digital Press. But check it out. You'll find it out there, I'm sure. Yeah, and here I got to use just 2 vertical 4x6s, which I also don't do very often, but it worked out for this layout. Then after Mandalay, right next door is the Luxor, and we had already decided we were going to try their buffet because my friend had never done a big Vegas buffet since she hadn't been there. So I agreed to try one, and I just let her pick. I didn't really care, and like more than 50% of them were still closed due to COVID, so we had slim pickings. Anyway, this is what we decided to do. But first we want to explore the outside because we both love Egyptian stuff, and so this fit the bill perfectly. And then I had some Egypt themed cards and some digital files. And so I use those here because that's not something I'm going to use very often unless I'm at a museum or something. So any chance I have where I can bust out the Egyptian stuff, I'll do it. And then this one also has a photo flip under here. So I love these. And then they had very minimal Christmas decorations in there. They really didn't do anything compared to the other places we saw. This was kind of it. So I did take a picture of that because it was pretty, but that's all there was. And so I kept it very simple. Just a little label here. This little piece, which I think is from Integrated Bubble. She does a lot of holiday sets, and I think this is from one of those. Then it was off to the actual buffet, and here again kept it simple. I did a lot of stamping here, so I did right on the photo there as well here, and then a little extra here, and I just tried to keep it flat but interesting. And so there's a photo flip down here, stamped on this again. So this one had an interesting color palette too. Orange and green are not something I would normally put together, but it was in the food, so I went with it. Once we were done there, right next door the other way is Excalibur, and I love me some castles, so I'm all about that. I took a lot of pictures. This is really toned down compared to what I took. So I have those, and then this card came like this, but I stamped that. I had that in a stamp set, and I thought, well, that'll look cute, so I put that on there. But again, very minimal embellishments here. This is inside, and again, their decorations for the holidays were very toned down compared to others, so that made it easy to match things. They had a very traditional color palette for the most part, very red, green, gold, with a little bit of the turquoise mixed in with their windows. So I did want to work that in too, just to liven it up a little bit. And then we didn't really go in the New York. We just sort of passed by it. You cross the bridge from Excalibur, you go here, and then we needed to cross over to MGM. So we didn't really go inside, but I have some photos of the outside since that is lovely. And again, minimal embellishments, couple of die cuts. This is a little chipboard heart here. I had this in a pack from Rosie's Studio, I believe is where that's from. That's all it needed, not too crazy. And then here, this is just the view from that bridge and talking about, okay, yep, we're done here. Now we're going to MGM because we had tickets to the Hunger Games exhibit. All right, if you are not a Hunger Games fan, you can probably skip like the next 8 layouts because they all have to do with that. This is one of my favorite things that we did because I am a major fan of the Hunger Games series. I'm looking very much toward this prequel movie that's coming out. I've already read the book. So there's that, but then I have lots of layouts here, and what I chose to do was keep the layouts pretty simple, but then use quotations from the books or movies, mostly from the books. So we have one there, and then these are actual sets and props and costumes from the movies, so I wanted to highlight those. Photo flip here, as you can see, this is from the train that they take to the Capitol. I didn't have to find that quote because it was already on the wall, but I did pull that one. And I loved this color scheme. Love how all these colors came together, and it's very elegant, which is very much the Capitol if you've read the books and seen the movies. And then they had a trivia game there, so I talked about that. We dominated, we were awesome. So really didn't need much here. Little puffy sticker, little phrase label, that's it. And then you get to sit in President Snow's chair. And so we tried to give our best like evil, crabby looks to suit the occasion. So that's me. My friend is under here. Another quote that I used, just slap some thin washi on there, and then I bought in their gift shop a set of buttons or pins that were all Hunger Games themed, and so I used the one that says Pan Am. Another layout, this one has a flip with more costumes underneath it, so you can see those. Move this back, there we go. And again, kept it pretty simple. I just used some sticker phrases that I had. Oops, there's swearing there too, sorry. Should have warned that in advance, but there is. And then did some journaling here, more outfits. There's another one of those pins that I bought in the gift shop they had. And then these were some of my favorite photos. I love this dress and then the wedding dress. And so I put in a very touching quote from Katniss about when she realizes she's in love with Peeta. I figured that was an appropriate place to put it since her wedding dress is there. And this is a very iconic quote from both the movie and the books, and so I wanted to include that as well because this is what starts off the whole series of the Hunger Games. And you can see here I've got multiple puffy stickers happening, and then I've got this little asterisk, a little bit of washi. Not a lot, but I think it adds some good visual impact. This is the professional photo that they take of you when you're there. You get several shots. This is the one we picked that we wanted to buy, so we each got one there. And then just some stuff from the store or that were on the walls. Another of the 2 pins there. My receipt for what I spent, because I did bring home some gifts for other people as well as for myself. And then after that, it was off to the Mob Museum. This was a super full day. And again, if you're not interested in the mob, these probably will not be interesting to you, but I thought it was a really fun thing to do. So I wanted to showcase it here. So there are multiple layouts happening here. And again, very flat embellishments, lots of phrase labels, some easy stickers, washi. There's nothing revolutionary here, but I like it. I think it helps these layouts have some impact and showcases the history that we saw there without being overly preachy about it, or I don't want somebody looking at this and feeling like, oh, I'm reading a lecture, I'm getting a lecture. I just wanted to include some major items we saw and learned, and then kept it at that. This is a super cool item. This was in their gift shop. It's a patch. I have noticed in lots of places this is becoming more common that they offer these. Now I'm sure people actually sew them on to things. I would just use them for scrapping, and that's what I did here. Some more layouts with a very minimal embellishing happening here because I wanted to keep it simple. Some stamping that fit in there super well. So I did it and then just left it alone. Then we were on to the speakeasy where we had some lovely cocktails. There's a flip under here. This shows the menu so you can see what we ordered. And then this was just part of their app. You could figure out who are you in the mob world, and it turns out I'm the speakeasy owner. So I figured that's fitting. I used some glittery stickers here from Mambi, and those are old. I've had those a long time, so I'm super pumped that I actually got to use them and they're not just sitting in my stash. Then when we were done, we headed back down the strip towards our hotel, and we hadn't been to the Aria or the Cosmo yet, so we decided to go into the Aria and see what they had on offer, and their holiday displays were on point. They were very good. So this was one area. There's an example where different areas had different things. So this was one little area near one of the entrance doors or exit doors, I believe. And then there was this that was in another part kind of off the lobby. And I loved the color scheme here. Again, non-traditional. And I just used flat embellishments this whole way. These are all from the same set. You can kind of tell. Same color scheme, same font and style. Then they had this snow globe thing set up. And so we took our pictures in there. I just used 2 acrylic snowflakes. That's it. Super simple, but super effective. And then this was their main area. And I did love this display because I hadn't seen anything else that was sort of candy and sweets themed for the holiday. So I wanted to do up those bright colors. I used a silver glitter pen to outline some stuff so it would look like sparkly candies. I really enjoyed that. I loved matching all of these colors. And then we were like, we are too tired to go out to a full dinner. We just want something simple. So we grabbed pizza at this little place right down from our hotel. And the slices were ginormous because it was New York style. So we just did that, and then we ate our leftover desserts we had in the fridge in the room, and that was enough. And again, very simple, just some phrase labels here, 1 chipboard piece that gives a little bulk but not a lot, and done. And then this was our last day. We really didn't have a ton of time, and my friend was kind of worn out, and so she stayed in the room, but I went over to the Cosmo. Since I hadn't seen it, I wanted to check it out. It's quite fancy. So you can see they have this thing called the chandelier. This is the bar behind it, which I thought was just stunning. And then this is that chandelier that hangs over the main area. Can't miss it. And it's super purple, which I love. And then this is other parts of the Cosmo. They had these big shoe structures, statue type things, sculptures around. So I thought, all right, if you're going to put out these stilettos, I'm going to take pictures of them. So I have those. Then it was just basically go back to the room, you know, grab our stuff and head to the airport. So I wanted to document that we took the bus. Here's our route. There's our plane. And again, lots of stamping here, but simple things. Ink splattering, couple of puffy stickers, rhinestones. I like the look of it, and I love that it didn't take me a ton of time. And then the closing page is being on the plane. I was actually on the aisle. Some of this was my friend's photo that she took out the window, but I love it simply because it just shows this little block of buildings, but they were golden in the sun. It was perfect for a takeoff. So I tried to match the elements to that. So I went very gold here, and very simple again, flat, flat, flat. Little phrase label, did some stamping in there. That's it. So now you've seen the complete album. It's a big one. It's chunky. So you can see it's very full, but I'm very happy with it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me put these all together. Thanks for watching.